DC. So lovely to see you all. Welcome to the Eras Tour. I love coming to DC. You get all the references. You're starved for jokes that don't end in, didn't have that on my bingo card. You freaks go nuts for this. But first, let's get into it. What a week. We begin in Congress, where the Speaker's chair remains empty in case Elijah comes. But how did we get here? It took 15 ballots to select Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and at the time, Elise Stefanik was thrilled. Here she is, being thrilled. Then, nary 17 days ago, Matt Gaetz and the Gateful Eight ousted McCarthy. Hooray. Steve Scalise jumped into the fray, and he won the vote in the Republican caucus, and Elise Stefanik was thrilled. There she is, being thrilled. Then Scalise realized if he went to the floor for a full vote, he'd be humiliated on ballot after ballot, so he withdrew. Jim Jordan ignored these warning signs, drawing on the years of practice he got at Ohio State, ignoring warning signs. So Jim Jordan won the vote in the Republican caucus, and Elise Stefanik was thrilled. Incredible, incredible. Harvard, everybody. Shut that whole place all the way fucking down. Just shut it all the way down. At best, Harvard produces generation after generation that battle each other to a draw. You know? Just good versus evil coming out of there, and at best, neutral. And then Jordan took to the House floor and launched a campaign to get that gavel. But many Republicans said the bullying tactics used by Jordan and his allies backfired. Members reported that their families were threatened. Ken Buck said he'd been subjected to 4 death threats, as well as getting evicted from his office space by an upset landlord. That really happened. His landlord is like a fucking MAGA goon, was like, get out of here. I don't know. Don Bacon said his wife sleeps with a loaded gun next to her bed after receiving threatening texts and calls. That gun isn't for threats, it is for role-playing. Now it's my turn to cross the border. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep going. Republicans were, of course, right to be shocked. There have been no signs that the right wing was growing more and more willing to embrace threats and violence to achieve their ends. Nothing had happened at all to lead anyone to believe that that might be a problem. Jake Tapper had this to say about reports that Republicans were being harassed by Jim Jordan and his cronies.
If only there was something in his background that would suggest he would stand by and look away when bad things were going on.
Boom, Jordan, you got tapped. All right. Of course, Jim Jordan won even fewer votes on the second ballot than the first, with 22 Republicans refusing to back him compared to 20 on Tuesday. Yeah, great. Getting measurably less popular with each passing day. Who is this guy? Me in high school or me after high school? One Republican who refused to back Jordan said this. He said, I think that somebody advising him thought it was a good idea to try to shine a spotlight on us and to try to... Let me take it again. It's a podcast. I'm editing this for people at home in real time. Wait for silence, make the edit neat. I think that somebody advising him... Shit, now it's going to be all fucked up. Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, whatever. He said Jim Jordan was trying to shame him. Of course, it didn't work. Republicans are immune to shame. Most of the time, that means we're doomed. But this week, it was funny. In the wake of the second failed vote, a spokesman for Jordan said he would not drop out of the speaker's race. That's right. Treat the House of Representatives like a Vegas slot machine. Just keep pulling the handle. You got to be due for a jackpot soon. You've been at this for days. When asked for his view on Jim Jordan's predicament, President Biden said this. Nice. Nice. It's like sometimes Biden is a little bit like bringing up baby. Old, still funny. Some of Jordan's opponents reportedly even said that they were purposely staggering their no votes to create the clear impression that his opposition was only growing and that he would lose even more support on the third ballot. Love this level of organization. These people have a "let's humiliate Jim Jordan" group text. One of them is rigging a bucket of pig's blood over the cloakroom. There was a tiny glimmer of hope when the idea was floated that Speaker pro tempore Patrick McHenry could fill the role on a short-term basis, but Florida Congressman and skid mark that is somehow on the outside and front of the shirt, Matt Gaetz, felt differently.
I'm against Speaker Light. I'm against Bud Light. I believe it is a constitutional desecration to not elect a Speaker of the House. We need to stay here until we elect a Speaker.
Look, I'd be against Bud Light too if my girlfriend kept asking me to buy a case for her and her friends every weekend. So House Republicans abandoned that plan, and Jordan reversed course to say that he would push for a third vote to become Speaker after all. Republicans can't even agree on a temporary fix to buy them time for a bigger fix that they also can't agree on. Hey, the patient's bleeding out. Should we use my belt as a tourniquet? Of course, suggesting your belt so you're the hero. Fuck you. Before the third vote, Jim Jordan said he wanted to meet with the 22 Republicans who voted against him. Just get me in a room with these guys, said America's least charming man. And so on Friday, Jordan lost a third time after 25 Republicans refused to vote for him, 3 more than Wednesday's vote, which makes sense because nobody likes Jim Jordan more the longer they think about him. You want this rotten fish? No? Cool, I'll check again in 3 days. Republicans retreated once again to the safety of their lair, which surely by this point absolutely reeks of Old Spice original scent. Old Spice original scent, the only scent a man can trust not to have a whiff of fag. In public, Jim Jordan may not have had, no, I wasn't saying it like that. That was a genuine accident. In public, Jim Jordan may not have had the 217 votes, but he still got the vast majority of Republicans, 194 at the lowest, including so-called moderate Republicans from swing districts that Biden won. But on Friday, behind closed doors, when the vote was secret and Republicans could vote without fear of backlash or the base, Jordan lost 112 to 86. Fucking weasels. And with that, House Republicans ditched Jim Jordan as their nominee for Speaker. Imagine, yeah, let's applaud that. Imagine all of your coworkers taking an anonymous vote that you suck. And that's in the newspaper. And then you have to go back to work on Monday. That kind of shit belongs in a group chat that I emotionally have to truly believe in my heart doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist, right, Brian? Fuck. Republicans are taking the weekend to cool off by doing what they do best, turning the dumbest anti-Semitic professor on a college campus somewhere into a celebrity and watching the game. So what happens now? A few options. Someone else somehow manages to smash the various circles of disparate assholes together with enough force to make the overlap on the Venn diagram equal 217. Republicans make little Patrick McHenry with his bow tie for picture day into some sort of temporary speaker. Or half a dozen Republicans get frisky and decide to be legends. Come on in, friends. We're not as scary as we seem, and we mostly stopped wearing masks outside. And sure, there are a dozen or so words that you can say as a Republican that you can't say as a Democrat. I won't list them, but after a little while, you won't miss them. And if you're worried you won't feel at home in a political party without anti-Semites on your fringe, don't fret. We have those too. Yeah, not sure what to do now, are ya? Republicans will hold a candidate forum on Monday night to determine their next nominee. Said former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we will have to go back to the drawing board. Drawing, shouted 3 Freedom Caucus members who were holding washable markers in both fists and who you've never heard of because they don't let them out of their cages. Easy now, stay cool, pretend you don't even want it, muttered Patrick McHenry, his bow tie spinning faster and faster. Regardless, the Republican House caucus now has the energy of 2 cars trying to get the same still empty parking spot, and both drivers would rather die than lose, and neither can even remember what they wanted at the grocery store in the first place. I think I came here to buy peanut butter, or maybe to burn the grocery store to the ground. I don't know. Speaking of 2 cars trying to take the same parking spot, the crisis in Israel and Gaza led President Biden. I know it's tough. It was tough, I know, but I felt like we just needed it, and I'm sorry, but we did the joke transition. You know it's right. You know that transition is comedically right. President Biden addressed the nation on Thursday. In his speech, the president asked Americans to come together to support Israel and Ukraine. Getting us to come together? What's your secret? Said wives. I'm gonna take a drink after that one. During the address, the president gave his sympathies to the families of those killed in Israel and in the blast at the Gaza hospital. Biden also repeated that the hospital was not targeted by Israeli forces based on U.S. intelligence assessments. Said a Twitter user who works remotely for a marketing company that sells Medicare Advantage plans, "That's ridiculous. I've been poring over the data for days and reached the opposite conclusion." Biden also made a plea for Americans to be an example to the world.
American leadership is what holds the world together. American alliances are what keep us, America, safe. American values are what make us a partner that other nations want to work with. To put all that at risk, if we walk away from Ukraine, if we turn our backs on Israel, it's just not worth it.
More Biden speeches should sound like monologues from Top Gun. Let's get some Kenny Loggins in there. Let's see how it goes.
American leadership is what holds the world together. American alliances are what keep us, America, safe. American values are what make us a partner that other nations want to work with.
Sure. This speech followed Biden's remarks in Israel on Wednesday, in which he urged Israel to show restraint.
But I caution this: while you feel that rage, don't be consumed by it. After 9/11, we were enraged in the United States. While we sought justice and got justice, we also made mistakes.
I've said it before, but I'll just say it again. I'm glad Biden is president right now. Trump would be refusing to send aid to Palestinians until they turned over evidence that Hunter is a pedophile, a statement he delivered during a wedding after showing the owner of Palm Beach's premier Lexus dealership a photo of Macron fucking. Like, that was the alternative, worth keeping in mind. At the Capitol, protesters were arrested on Wednesday after they entered and peacefully occupied a congressional building, calling on the U.S. to demand a ceasefire in Israel and Gaza. Pretending this was some sort of insurrection, Marjorie Taylor Greene asked Capitol Police to preserve all video, surveillance footage, photographic evidence, and police reports after the protests. Not all Republicans agreed, however. Lauren Boebert encouraged Capitol Police to dispose of the surveillance footage as she tucked her tit back into her shirt. I don't know about that one. Independent presidential candidate and person whose whole vibe is off, Cornell West, received the maximum campaign donation of $3,300 from billionaire GOP donor Harlan Crow, according to West's latest fundraising report. It's sad to see that money is straight out of Clarence Thomas's gift budget. The news came after West announced 2 weeks ago that he wouldn't be running for the Green Party nomination and would be running as an independent. In a text message to The Times, Mr. West said of the decision, "I'm a jazz man in politics and the life of mind who refuses to play only in a party band. And I don't care who is hurt by helping to elect Trump. This is jazz. Scoodly doop, scoodly doop. You have to listen for the problems we don't solve." Then, in a statement about returning Harlan Crow's donation, West once again called himself a jazz man. "As a jazz man, I listened and decided to give the money back to brother Harlan, but still state the truth." This is neither here nor there, but I believe Harlan Crow's dick fully hit the table at his hunting lodge when he heard that brother there. Meanwhile, California governor and guy who can help you pick a wine if you're having trouble, Gavin Newsom, has signed a bill that will require schools to teach cursive in 1st through 6th grade. I think that's great. Everyone my age had to learn cursive, and look at us now, a lonely, fucked up, financially crippled generation that knows cursive. Ron DeSantis is do a press conference, be like, "Gavin Newsom's gonna make them learn the woke G. That's not a Q. That's a number 2. That's weird. The Q never made sense. In our hearts, we know the Q never made sense." The U.S. military said Wednesday that forces had shot down 2 drones that were targeting American troops stationed at an air base in Iraq. The Uber Eats delivery robots had a moment of silence for their fallen comrades. Meanwhile, Amazon will begin testing drone deliveries of prescription medications. The drugs will be dropped at the customer's address in a padded package from a height of 4 meters. Oh, my anxiety meds are ready? Would it be possible for a flying robot that physically represents a cold and soulless future, a kind of joyless and empty yet infinitely convenient life, to come to my house and fling them at me from above? It's for my anxiety. Twitter, the app we will not call X, will test a new program called Not a Bot that will charge new users $1 annually in order to post and interact with other posts. This really shouldn't matter. No one should be signing up for a Twitter account. Twitter was once Chernobyl in 1985. Not perfect, a little bleak, but there was good work there. Twitter is now Chernobyl in 1987. What are you doing? You sick your teeth not falling out? Toyota issued a press release to announce the progress they've made towards developing a solid electrolyte battery that could give electric vehicles a 900-mile range, which is all well and good, but the internet was more interested in an included photo that showed the solid electrolyte in a clear flask. Yeah, that's right. That looked like a butt plug. This explains why Toyota is giving away a free bottle of VCR cleaner with every pre-order. Unbelievable. If it can charge a car, imagine what it could do to my asshole, said Rosie the robot from the Jetsons. The sick fucks at Pucker Butt Pepper Company in South Carolina have developed a small wrinkly pepper called Pepper X, which now holds the Guinness record for world's hottest chili pepper. I think the fuck not, said a shirtless 6-year-old Anthony Kiedis. The company's founder described the feeling of eating a whole Pepper X. There's an intense burn that happens immediately. Then your head feels kind of like, oh no, what's going on? And then your body just starts reacting. You get it in your arms, you get it in your chest. It has no real throat burn like the Reaper, but that comes on later, when you're in pain. This story brought to you by male loneliness. Male loneliness. Who needs a friend you can have intimate conversations and inherent trust with when you can create a medical emergency in your asshole just to feel something? And finally, federal customs agents seized a small box of giraffe feces from an Iowa woman who was returning from Kenya. The woman explained she was planning to use the turds to make a necklace. That wasn't even the first reason we stopped her, said officials. It was actually number 2. Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. We have a great show. We'll be right back with Jen Psaki.